In this video, we will be roasting asparagus at 425 degrees Fahrenheit as suggested by our famous chefs. So this is always the first thing that I do every time I prepare my asparagus for roasting or baking. I always preheat the oven to the desired temperature so that as I go along and prepare for the finished product, then I already have done my preheating of the oven. So don't forget that, okay? So for the ingredients, we have the olive oil, we have a bunch of asparagus, and then there's black pepper. This is a powdered black pepper actually. Some would use corn pepper and they will grind it. And for our salt, I have iodized salt, and most people will use kosher salt or rock salt. So but whatever you have, then just use them. For me, there's no point of buying special salt or pepper when what you have is those pepper and iodized salt, and they work just fine. Okay, so for the asparagus, again, you wash them thoroughly one by one, and you make sure that there's no spot in the spheres that's open, or that the whole asparagus is firm and it's not bendable, and there's no opening in any parts of the asparagus stick. So thoroughly cleaning them is really a good practice, because some people will just rinse it with water and then they go ahead and roast them. So we will be drying these asparagus with paper towel so that if the asparagus is dry, it prevents it from steaming because you remove the excess water. And this is the thicker kind of asparagus. Usually when I buy them, they are in medium size, and sometimes they have like the thin asparagus, which I don't really like using them. So I really would want my asparagus to be thicker so I can have more meat into it. So here I'm already cutting the bottom half of the asparagus so that I can throw them away. Those are the woodsy part. Those are the parts that's not good. You can throw them away, and then what's left is the soft or the tender part of the asparagus sphere. And sometimes, even if I know that we cut off like at least 2 inches from the bottom, the woodsy part, I still believe that cutting a little bit more, make it a little bit shorter, is enjoyable when you actually eat them, because then it's all tender. Like, it's not like you keep biting and chewing into it and then you come to the woodsy part. So here, this is what I told you, that we have to dry it out with towel. I know that's an extra step for us to prepare asparagus. I mean, it's just asparagus, but there's just so many little steps that you have to do in order to have a perfect roasted asparagus. And then you line them up with space away from each other, and that would create more room for its asparagus to roast dry. So there you have it. Now I'm about to start adding all my ingredients. I started with salt, And I just don't measure them, with spoon or whatnot. I just sprinkle them as much as I like or as little as I want, and then mix them up with a little bit of olive oil. So to make it a little bit spicy, of course, you sprinkle more of the pepper. And this is like just to demonstrate that we need those salt and pepper. I feel like putting more pepper into this ingredients. So here, as I said, you have to keep each asparagus away from each other, or like there's a space between them. Let them do some distal social distancing. So just to make you remember how they're supposed to be, because oftentimes when we bake asparagus, we just throw them in, line them up, and then don't even think like why are we really truly separating each sphere from each other. And there's a reason to that. You don't want them to stick to each other and race, and then steam each other during the process of roasting. So I always prepare and get them all set up, and it looks good. Line them up, separate them, and then prepare to insert in the oven once the preheat beep will let us know that the oven is ready. So carefully I load them. I'll check them again. I make sure that they are few inches apart from each other. So I usually put them in the oven for 15 minutes. And so as soon as you're done with the 15 minutes, remove it from the oven, put it on your dinner plate, and then you can start tasting it. Yeah, it's extremely hot, and I love just picking up the asparagus using my fingers. It's not the very safest thing to do, but I just feel like eating it like a finger food. But you're supposed to use fork. As you could see, you can enjoy it more. And as I bite into it, it's crunchy, and I just love the taste of it. Actually, for me, asparagus is an acquired taste because there's a smell to it, and of course, when you urinate, you will also have that really strong smell from the asparagus spheres that you consume. Even just like it's a one bunch of asparagus, the smell for your urine is still really strong. So there you have it. I enjoyed making this asparagus with you guys in 425 degrees Fahrenheit oven temperature with asparagus. Makes asparagus crunchy, and then you can actually eat it all the way to the woodsy part because it really cooked the asparagus. So this will be my dinner, and I'm just happy that I'm able to eat a best tasting vegetable at nighttime, because that's the most challenging part. You just keep eating at night, and that would stay in your midsection, and that's how you end up gaining some weight. So asparagus for me is a good dinner substitute with a hot water. So enjoy, and thank you for watching. Have a nice night. See you in the next one.